In this video, I'm going to go over a chart pattern called the head and shoulders. This is quite a common pattern, which is sometimes overlooked, and this will be my final video on chart patterns within the technical analysis series. After this, my next video is going to be on indicators and how to use them and the advantages and disadvantages of some of them. Okay, so when looking at the head and shoulders pattern, you need to actually know the anatomy of the head and shoulders. This is a rough diagram that I've drawn. You've got the left shoulder, you've got the head, and then you've got the right shoulder. And that's essentially what a head and shoulders is. You've also got the neckline. Going into it in more detail, the distance between the neckline and the top of the head is your target for the actual measured move for the head and shoulders. So what I mean by that is, if this red arrow represented $70 in price, then that means that same distance, or $70, is your target for the head and shoulders. So this is a bearish pattern. So you're expecting the price to break down, go down to wherever this red line is. What tends to happen is you get a breakdown from the neckline, like this. And then sometimes, not always, you get something called a retrace to the scene of the crime. All that means is you get a retrace of price back to the neckline before it ultimately goes down and hits your target. You can also get inverse head and shoulders, such as this one over here, and you can also get slanted head and shoulders, and then you can also get inverted slanted head and shoulders as well. Talking about inverse head and shoulders, it can lead to something like this, where you get price, it comes back down to the scene of the crime, and then it goes up. This is a bullish pattern, and if you were looking for an entry, then you'd be looking to buy around here when it retraces back to the scene of the crime. Or if you're confident it's a head and shoulders, you can also enter around here. And then with a slanted head and shoulders, this was a bearish pattern, just like the previous slides, and you'll get something like this. So you still get the retrace to the scene of the crime. Just to show you what a slanted inverse head and shoulders might look like, imagine that's a straight line. You might get price movement like that. That's your left shoulder, the head, and then the right shoulder, and then price might break out like this, retrace to the scene of the crime, and then go up. So that's something like a slanted inverse head and shoulders. So now I'm going to show you some real examples. This is the chart of Broadcom, and this is around, this was at the end of 2023. If I was to draw a trend line, I can see that maybe there's a head and shoulders laying out somewhere here. So you could see clearly here, you've got the left shoulder, you've got the head, and then you've got the right shoulder. Remember, charts aren't going to be perfect. If you're looking for perfection, then you're going to miss out on real gains, because what you see in the textbooks does not always happen in real life. As you can see, the shoulders, they're not taller than the head. These two shoulders are roughly the same size. Let's see how they played out. So you got the breakout, you got the confirmation as well, and you got the retrace to the scene of the crime. You got the head and shoulders, you got the breakout with confirmation. If you don't know what confirmation is, I've made a previous video on this as well, so please make sure you watch it. You got the retrace to the scene of the crime, and then price went up. So if you did want to enter this trade, here was one option to enter here, and you had another chance to enter over here before it went up. The next example I'm going to show is Astroica. So I'm going to draw a trend line over here. So something like this. So if I connect this from here, so you got the left shoulder, the head, you got the right shoulder, and then you got the breakdown. With this one, it's not retraced to the scene of the crime, but it's not to say that it might not. I don't know how this chart plays out, but it might come back up to here before it retraces down. But this is a head and shoulders pattern. The final example I want to show you is Microsoft. So this is the current price of Microsoft. I don't know how this will play out, but if I was to draw a trend line like this, you can see small head and shoulders as well, but I'm looking at the bigger picture. So you've got the left shoulder, the head, and then you can say all of this is one shoulder as well. So this is your right shoulder. And if this was to play out, then the price of Microsoft might come all the way down to about $320, $310. The measured move, this breaking it down. So that would be interesting to see how this plays out. There's no guarantee it will play out at all, but it's just something to keep an eye out on. So that summarizes the head and shoulders pattern. I really appreciate you watching, and I've just realized that I've hit 100 subscribers. I didn't expect to reach this so soon. So I really appreciate it. If you found this video or any of the videos useful, I'd really appreciate if you could like, subscribe, comment, share with others, and help other people out, because I'm trying to keep it educational. I'm trying to pass on my experience to others, and I'm hoping that other people would use this and make money for themselves.